it's Eddie, and today we're going to be talking about traveling on a budget. Exciting, right? I'm going to share with you guys a trip that Korra and I took cross-country over 3,500 miles in 9 days, visiting friends and family along the way. We never paid a dime for lodging, and we brought all our food with us. Spoiler alert, at the end of the video, I'm going to go over with you guys all the financial numbers, but I can tell you right now, we averaged less than $45 per day, and we ate pretty healthy and had good nutrition. So much so that whenever we were able to show up to visit a friend, we had tons of energy and we had a blast. In this video, I'm gonna go over you guys my setup. I'm gonna give you guys some good information. Hint, hint, we're gonna talk a lot about food. And then like I said, at the end, I'll give you those financial numbers. So let's go. Now it's time to get into this setup. Before we do, I want to talk about a couple things that I think people tend to overthink, overanalyze when they're trying to start out their traveling journey. Number one, vehicle. My advice would be to use whatever vehicle you already have. So if you're someone who has a truck, SUV, Subaru, minivan, whatever, you have more than enough vehicle to get out there and start traveling the country. If you're somebody with a car, don't despair. There's still plenty of stuff you can do with a car and plenty of videos on YouTube where folks are sleeping in their car, removing seats, and doing some really cool trips around the country. The second thing that people tend to overthink is how are they going to sleep? It's really easy to get caught searching on YouTube and watching videos where you see awesome content creators with amazing setups, with beds that fold out, mattresses built into their back of their trucks, beds that extend, etc., etc. Cabinets, shelves, lots of cool stuff. The problem is if you're just starting your journey, sometimes that can be a little bit overwhelming and you can tend to start to think, oh, I need that to be able to travel. The truth is you don't. You can see this mattress right here, super cheap, that I bought on Amazon, and it's all I need to sleep in the back of this vehicle. This mattress doesn't even quite fit. When I shut the tailgate, half of it goes up. It's not aesthetically pleasing, but it gets the job done, and if I ever want to upgrade, I can. The third thing people tend to overthink is how are they going to shower? You would not be surprised how many people I talk to that ask me about traveling, ask me about a trip, and the first thing they ask me is, well, how did you shower? Okay? Girl. At the end of the day, right, there's plenty of ways to shower, and a lot of times there's ways that you guys aren't even thinking about with things that you already have access to. So for me, I have a YMCA membership. The first thing I thought is, oh my gosh, YMCA is nationwide. So if I'm doing a trip cross country, there's tons of different YMCAs that I can stop and take a shower in, right? A lot of you are gonna visit friends and family along the way as well. So obviously, your friends and family, hopefully, will let you take a shower. Plus, there's plenty of rest stops, and not necessarily rest stops, but truck stops, like Travelers Advance, I think that's what they're called, where you guys can pay a couple bucks to go in and get a shower if you really need it. So don't let that stop you. Don't overthink that and just get out there. Okay, we just talked about things people tend to overthink. Now let's talk about something people tend to underthink. Okay, and that's food and everything to do with it. From how you're gonna store it, how you're gonna cook it, what exactly to bring, and then how are you gonna clean up after yourself. The last thing you wanna do on a road trip is deal with the stress of not knowing where you're gonna eat, what you're gonna eat, and then not having enough energy when you show up to places, whether that's seeing a national park that has been on your bucket list for who knows how long, or you're seeing friends and family like that you haven't seen in 10 years. The last thing you guys wanna do is show up with no energy, right? You wanna show up, girl, you wanna show up ready to go, ready to party, and make the trip memorable. Now let's get into the setup.
All right, here's an initial shot of the back of the truck. Normally I keep the cooler in the back seat, but just to show you guys how much room there is, I went ahead and put it back here. So I've got a towel, a hammock, 2 things of water, battery, butane for the stove. I got a sleeping bag, pillow. My mattress is, as you can see it behind the cooler there. I've got my dishwashing system and another sleeping bag. Underneath the sleeping bag is my stove, my French press. I've got a fold-up chair. That long black bag is a really cool tent that folds up on its own as well as hooks to the vehicle. And then obviously there's my stove. These water bags are money. I love these bags because they carry a ton of water. They're 5-liter bags. I have about 5 to 10 of these, and when you're not using these, you can roll them up
and keep them rolled up, like tie them up with a rubber band. And these are great because you can carry 10 of these rolled up. They take up no space, and you can fill them up as needed. So I always have these on for potable water if I needed to drink it, brush my teeth, wash my dishes, or whatever else I need it for. Again, let's keep this simple and let's just get out the door. As you can see, it doesn't get much simpler than this. I got a sponge, I got a plastic bucket with the, or a bowl with a lid that seals, and just some basic soap. This is gonna allow you to clean your dishes. Over here, we've got the stove, which I'm gonna get to in a minute. And then we have the battery and the cooler.
Okay, we're gonna talk about cooler and battery. So this is the EcoFlow River 2 portable battery. It is 768 watt hours, and that's a Bossy 45 liter refrigerator slash freezer. Now let's talk power consumption, how to choose a battery, and then how much power this cooler actually draws. So I've read a couple different things on different websites regarding this cooler. I actually can't find the owner's manual that it came with, but I've read between 60 and 80 watts per hour. Now, with a 768 watt hour battery, if you do the math, right, that battery should have been drained in, somewhere between 9 and 10 hours, right? But what I noticed is when I would stop for the night and plug the battery or plug the cooler into the battery, that by the time I woke up, there was only like 30% gone off that battery. So that tells me that this cooler actually was barely pulling anything as far as power consumption through the night. Now, one thing to keep in mind is the cooler was full of food. It was only on refrigerator mode at 40 degrees, and it was cool outside. So all those factors are going to matter. But if you're looking to choose a battery, the best way to do it is take that total number of watt hours, take the power consumption rating on the manufacturer's website or whatever Amazon tells you, because that's going to be your worst case scenario if this thing is drawing as much power as it possibly can. And I will tell you, for my trip, this battery at 768 watt hours was definitely overkill. It was nice to have, and I love this battery, and I can use it for other stuff, but for a trip like this, I didn't actually need that. Okay, now I'm going to show you the setup. So you've got the cooler, you got the battery running, you got battery charging turned on, and then you've got the cooler just simply plugged right into the battery. Okay, so now we're going to take that same setup and we're going to add the next step. So when I'd wake up in the morning and my battery was used a little bit, I would run this setup and then I would plug the battery, as you can see here, straight into the truck. So now the battery is charging while the cooler is running through the battery. And then as soon as that battery was full, I'd pull that charger off, put the battery away, and then I would use the cigarette lighter adapter, this one right here, to plug the cooler straight into the truck. Also, as you can see there, if you want to use a cigarette lighter for the battery, it comes with one of those too. And that's how I could keep this whole process sustainable over time, no matter how many days my road trip was.
Now, for the stove, super simple. I got this on Amazon for probably about 27 bucks. Like I said, I'll link that at the end, but extremely simple setup, right? It uses butane, which, as you can see up in the truck, I keep a pack of these on me at all times, but super cheap, super easy to use. I store the butane in the stove. It's not connected. I don't store it connected, but I just put the cap on and store it in upside down. So watch, I'm gonna show you guys how easy this is to use. Pop the cap, find the seal, super easy, you can't mess that up, right? And then all you do is you take this bottom piece, hope you can see that, release load, and let it load. Now, all you gotta do is place the top on, go to max, and boom, one click and it's on. Hopefully you guys can see that flame, but super easy, super convenient, super cheap. I really don't think anything beats this. Okay, now you just take your pot. What are you gonna do? and you're ready to cook or boil water. For me, all I really needed was this pot, and inside this is the kettle. This is how I boil water. This is how I cook my food. I carried one spatula with me, and I kept it super simple, super efficient. When you're done, all you do, click it off, hit the release tab, open it up, pull this out. You're gonna go hit load one more time, make sure there's no gas left in it. And if there was, it's probably really not gonna hurt anything, but it's just a smart thing to do. Cap back on, throw it in backwards, boom, right? Wait for a couple seconds to touch this, okay, this is good. Flip it, now it's ready to go back in its case. Told you guys, quick and easy. Finally, now we're gonna talk nutrition. My favorite part of the video. The thing I think is the most overlooked thing, the number one underrated thing, and the thing that's gonna make or break your road trip or traveling experience. So what I would do is, right off the bat, I would use my cooler for either meal prep meals, or I'd use some pre-made meal service. Like I have Mighty Meals on the table, but I've used Factors before, and there's tons of others that are gonna be able to get you nutritious, delicious food that are gonna help you sustain this trip. One tip I would give you is that for me, I ordered 2 of the same meals for every meal. So if I had 16 meals in that cooler, 8 of them were the same meals. I did this because I didn't want to end up cooking twice throughout the day. So I would just double those meals up when I cooked them. That small little stove you guys saw, well, small little pot, was able to easily fit 2 of these meals in there. And I was able to eat double at the same time. And then one other time throughout the day, maybe I had a freeze-dried meal, or I just supplemented with snacks, right? This is gonna give you guys proper nutrition to allow you to have tons of energy throughout the trip. Now, I am somebody who tracks my macros, so I know how much protein and how many calories I need to get to each day to sustain my weight and have tons of energy, right? But I don't wanna turn you guys off who aren't into that. Does it help? Yes, but do you have to know that? You have to do that? Again, this video is about getting your foot in the door and getting out there. So I don't want you to think that you need to start learning about macros, doing all this stuff, if it's not something that you're ready for, okay? Just follow a setup like mine or use mine for inspiration and just have good food ready to eat when you need it, and don't worry so much about your macros, right? The second thing is delicious snacks, right? Go to Costco, BJ's, Sam's Club. I'm not promoting Costco, right? It's just where I shop. But protein bars, I love these. If you haven't had these, you gotta try them. They're like a better tasting Reese's peanut butter cup. You have one of these, you're not going back. You can't eat these all day, by the way, but you can definitely snack on them. All right, beef stick, apples, oranges. I don't have those right now, but those are just some of the things I love. And then an absolute game changer for me is Greek yogurt, right? Non-fat, vanilla Greek yogurt allows you to get a ton of protein without too much fat and carbs to balance out your diet throughout the day, right? So I can tell you from somebody who tracks their macros, 2 of these meals a day, maybe if I needed one of these, a few snacks and a couple pieces of fruit will absolutely give me the exact numbers that I need for the day to maintain weight and have a ton of energy. Also, while we're here, I want to show you what I showed you guys outside. This is what one of those 5-liter water bags rolls up to. And like I said, I know we talked about it, but why I love these things is you could carry 10 of these, you can carry 15 of these and have access to 50, 75 gallons of water, like rolled up. And like, let's say you filled up 10 of these in your truck or your car, right? As you use them, you can roll them back up, put the caps on, and now they stow away. If you guys are taking gigantic, like big old drums of water or bags, or gallon jugs, like the thing is once you use that water, it's hard to roll those in the store. That's why I love these bags, and they're super cheap. Okay, so how many meals could this cooler hold? Right now I've stacked 8 meals in there and I ran out of them, but you technically could put 9. And if you took off the cardboard boxes, you're probably gonna have even more space. But with the cardboard on, you're still getting 18 meals in there, plus you have room on the side for yogurt, drinks, or maybe even a couple more meals. But 18 minimum with this cooler.
Finally, the moment you've been waiting for, the budget. As this list starts to roll out, you can see that everything on here is pretty much a one-time expense. And like I said before, you can always go smaller with the cooler or the battery to get started. Now for the food. Hopefully you can use this list for inspiration, but just keep in mind, you can always mix and match. The goal is to eat healthy, but also to enjoy and love what you eat. I really do hope you were able to take something away from this video and you're feeling ready to start your first or your next trip. Until next time, thanks for watching.